welcome to my channel. Well, you know, of all the Bowie knives that I've, that's a big trigger thing too on a lot of, when someone, I watched other videos, you know, I watched a lot of YouTube videos lately on Bowie knives that people have done. And when someone pronounces it different than the way other people are used to hearing it, the one guy even left a comment. He said, "I left immediately when I heard you pronounce it Bowie, because it's Bowie. David Bowie, you know, named himself after Bowie, you know, and everything." Well, you know what? It doesn't really matter. It has nothing to do with the knife, you know. It's just about the name of the knife and the legend of the knife and all this other stuff, you know. And you get off on a tangent. The main thing to focus on is, what are you looking at right here? Not what is it pronounced as or anything like that. But before we get into that, the last time I was talking about, you know, some people say they only buy American. Now, I don't want to slam this company, because I know, like Shredder Knife Reviews and stuff, they like these knives, and they may or may not know the people and stuff like this. And it has a really nice thing on their website telling about how they support the Second Amendment and all this other stuff, you know. But they do not say where the country of origin of their knives are on the website, and I think that's deceptive. And also, if you look at this label, look at it closely. See that? Made in China. You see that? All right. So just be upfront about it. You know, what they're doing is they're appealing to the people that say, "I will only buy," see, nice little patriotic flag there, "I will only buy American." They're appealing to people that want that, you know. And then what do? They throw in a Chinese knife. Now, like I said, I don't mind Chinese knives, you know, but the people that think that they're being great, you're like, "Look, I only buy from this company because they're a well-known company, and they, you know, and they support the Second Amendment and blah, blah, blah." And guess what? You know, if you're worried about every time your money goes, any penny that goes towards China is an outrage to you, then there's companies out there that are willing to, you know, sucker you in. You know, here, look, it's got an American flag. It's gotta be patriotic. How can you say anything bad about the American flag? What are you, a commie? Yeah. So here's one I do not recommend. All right, and I haven't hardness tested it or anything else, but you can see I've used it before and everything. The reason why I say this is, look at this tang. We've got a rat tail tang. Now, rat tail tangs can be all right, but this knife also came with a warning. I wish I would have saved it. I got this a long time ago. Now I wrapped this with camouflage and everything. It was just a cheesy little thing, but it was an odd color, so I just wrapped it with camo tape. But it says, "Don't use this for chopping, prying. Don't throw the knife. Don't, you know, don't damage the tip." You know, everything you see people doing with a Bowie knife, you know. They stick it in the wood, and they like this, and they throw it at trees and stuff like that. Now, let me tell you, throwing knives, if they're not really designed to be a throwing knife, you're gonna miss. You're gonna miss. You're gonna think you're, you know, Jim Bowie or whatever. You can throw a knife and stick it in a tree every time, but you're gonna miss a lot of times. And when you do, it's gonna hit somewhere on the hilt. And a lot of times like this, these are brass pins. And then you've got a steel that it's joining into. So sooner or later, your handle's going to start getting loose, or you're going to crack things. Throwing a knife is a good way to screw it up. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend this one. It looks nice. It feels nice in the hand. You know, the handle could be a little bit more contoured. It's got like finger grooves in it and everything. If you use it like a Bowie knife was originally intended as a fighting knife, then it's going to be all right. But what I like what I like about one of these is it's multi-purpose. I mean, it's like, it's supposed to be carbon steel. I haven't tested it with vinegar yet, but this one was, I think, advertised on Amazon. Amazon is really flaky with their descriptions of stuff a lot of times, but it was advertised as stainless steel. I haven't tested it yet, like I said. This is one that has a low Rockwell hardness on it, but I tell you what, I've got a convex edge on this thing, and I was beating into that like ironwood or whatever, that oak stuff that I out there, and I was looking at the edge, and I was even beating where it was, I was trying to get my smacks to go where the edge had originally been damaged to see if it would take a chunk out of it, and it's doing fine. I mean, so it's, what are you using the steel for? You know, I mean, what are you using a knife for? If you want something that just looks good and you can smack around and everything, you can't go wrong with one of these, really. I mean, I've smoothed out the handle now. It feels really good in hand. It's got a good balance. It has that, you know, traditional Bowie knife look to it. And you could restain the handle if you wanted to make it look darker or whatever. I took a little knife here and started, it had some stuff, and this stuff shaves pretty easily. It's not a really dense grain. It's kind of an open grain type of wood. But I put some boiled linseed oil on it. Now, that's what I wanted to also say is, like, I'm not a steel snob. I'm not a hardness. A hardness tester, you know, snob. I would just like to know, you know, it's an indication of how the steel should perform, or if it's been properly heat treated. Coming from Pakistan, you would like to know that. Now, I know a lot of people get knives like these and they say, that's great, it holds, are you sure, you know, it's perfect, I love it. I get it, you know, you love your knife. Maybe you got one that had a good heat treatment. You know, the only way you're going to be able to find out is get yourself a set of hardness files and test your own knife. And then you come up with your conclusion. If yours comes out to 50 to 55 or 55 to 60, then yeah, you've got one that's been properly heat treated. But a softer steel sometimes comes at advantage, especially if you're chopping. You know, if you're using this thing as what it's not really intended to do, you know, other than chop like an arm off, but it's not designed to sit there and be a little axe, but you can press it into that surface. You can also use this as like a little entrenching tool, you know, like a little trowel and stuff. You stick it in there. It's got enough of a point on it that you could actually, you know, like carve out little holes and stuff like that. Something you'd have a more difficult time doing with, you know, a blunt, you know, like machete, you know, tip. You've got a nice point on there. But I've seen people beat the crap out of these things, you know, just abuse the hell out of them. And it's like that original Pakistan kukri that I had, man. I tell you, I mean, it's a good thing I didn't have a camera and was filming all that stuff, because I abused the crap out of that thing. Sometimes I'd throw it at trees. Sometimes I'd dig holes with it. I never had it, you know, particularly super sharp. It was more like a chopping, whacking type of thing. But I love that. I love that knife. So anyways, I'm carrying this. I call it, you know, people still pronounce it Cisco. If you look up, Cisco is a company in California that makes routers and stuff like that. And it's spelled the proper way, you know, C-I-S-C-O. When you put a Z in any language, I'm sorry, S-Z-C-O, how do you make that Z sound? Z never sounds like an I. I've never run into an Ibra, you know. It's always a zebra, you know. So I'm sorry, if you use an English language and you throw S-Z-C-O in there, I'm going to say Sesco. That's as close as I can come to pronouncing that thing. It's not Cisco. I don't care if the guy that made the company calls it Cisco. He's wrong. He's wrong. Anyway, See, semantics. There we go. We getting off on words, you know. Let's talk about the knife. Not how you describe the knife, you know. Come on. But anyway, there you go. That's my little rambly one for in the morning. I got my new, they just screwed these windscreens, these mosquito screens and stuff on the window, and it's darker. It looks a lot better. But they did it all the way up. So we have a problem here with mosquitoes. You know, there's a swimming pool out there, but they don't usually get into chlorine that much. But there's a lot of standing water, and if you leave your door open for any length of time, man, later on, it's like you're camping. They're all after you, these mosquitoes. But anyway, yeah. So there you go. That's my take. That the only Bowie knife so far that I would not recommend buying, because you can get much better. I think it was around $20-something at I think I got it at Walmart or something. This was a long time ago. But yeah, it looks good and everything, but it's not as sturdy if you're going to be using it as like a chopper, and you're going to be tempted to. But it was just funny, you know. Don't use this for cutting anything really heavy. I'm like, God, what? It's a knife. Don't use it for cutting. Yeah. But anyway, I don't know if it said that one in there, but I tend to get carried away sometimes. Ooh, look. This thing is the same size as a... No, it's not. I was putting this one back together again before I got distracted. So there you go. Sorry for running my mouth off so long. I did have something to say. Terry didn't get stabbed this time. The dinosaur's standing up. Move the Coke bottle so nobody will get conked. And, yeah, Boris is back here somewhere. Oh, he's hiding. He's hiding back over there. What's the matter, Boris? I don't know. Yeah, he's getting all defensive lately. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.